All right, strap yourselves in, because today we're going deep on a mystery that I think would even leave Sherlock Holmes stumped.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin,
Right.
whose real identity is still a complete secret.
It's pretty wild. And you know what? This isn't just some fun little side note.
Oh, yeah.
Satoshi's choice to stay anonymous. It really is like a fundamental part of what Bitcoin is, like baked right in. It affects like everything about it, from how decentralized it is to like the whole philosophy behind it.
Okay, so for folks out there who maybe are just sort of dipping their toes into the crypto world,
Sure.
let's rewind the clock back to 2008.
Okay.
Okay, picture this. We've got the whole global financial system like teetering on the brink of collapse.
Yeah.
Nobody trusts banks anymore.
Yeah.
And you've got this group of pretty tech-savvy, I guess you could call them rebels,
Yeah.
known as cypherpunks, who are really pushing for like privacy and taking power away from big institutions.
I mean, it's key to grasp that whole context. These cypherpunks, they didn't trust authority, like, at all.
Right.
They were deeply skeptical, and they saw technology as this way to empower individuals, like, fight the power, man, challenge the system.
And then, boom, out of nowhere comes Satoshi Nakamoto. And as we know now, that name's probably made up.
Most likely, yeah.
But anyway, out of thin air, they dropped this revolutionary document, like a bomb. The Bitcoin white paper.
This wasn't just some boring technical document. It was like a vision for a whole new financial system, like a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, no government control, and built on this like game-changing tech
Blockchain.
Exactly, blockchain.
So think of it like a digital ledger that lives like everywhere all at once on this whole network of computers. And it's like crazy secure, super transparent, so nobody can mess with it.
Right. It's almost impossible to tamper with. And to keep things fair, Satoshi came up with this brilliant thing called proof of work.
Okay, proof of work. Break that down for me.
Well, basically, computers have to solve these super complicated math problems just to verify the transactions, to make sure the network's safe. It's like, imagine like a massive Sudoku puzzle.
Okay.
But like spread out across like thousands of computers.
Wow.
That's kind of what's keeping Bitcoin running smoothly.
That's incredible. So then January 2009, Bitcoin goes live.
First block mine, the Genesis block.
Genesis block. And get this, hidden in the code is this headline from the Times about bank bailouts.
Talk about a statement.
Right.
That one little detail speaks volumes about what Satoshi was all about.
Yeah.
It was a message, plain and simple. Bitcoin was here to fix what the financial crisis broke.
Right, like a system that couldn't be rigged by the powers that be.
Exactly.
So for a couple of years, Satoshi's super active in the Bitcoin world, coding, collaborating, guiding things along. But then in 2010, poof, vanished.
It's wild, isn't it? Gone without a trace. And of course, that's just fueled all kinds of theories and conspiracies.
Of course.
Who was this Satoshi Nakamoto? Why'd they just walk away, especially when things were taking off?
Well, that's where this whole mystery really kicks in.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years, there's been this whole parade of people who could have been Satoshi.
Like a lineup, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them make more sense than others.
Right.
You've got Hal Finney, this brilliant cryptographer who was into Bitcoin super early on.
Okay.
Then there's Jorian Nakamoto, poor guy, who Newsweek totally misidentified as Satoshi back in 2014.
Oh, man. Can you imagine?
Awful, right?
To have the whole world suddenly think you're the Bitcoin mastermind?
Yeah.
Especially if you had absolutely nothing to do with it.
I mean, it just shows you how crazy the hunt for Satoshi has become.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And then you've got Craig Wright, this guy who's been super loud about being Satoshi.
Very vocal.
But tons of people disagree with him.
Yeah, and his claims have even been, like, officially challenged in court.
Wow. It's almost like one of those classic movie plots where someone tries to steal the hero's origin story.
I like that, yeah.
But in this case, the hero is an idea, and the story of how it began is this total mystery.
And that mystery is still unfolding.
Oh, yeah.
Some people think Satoshi could be Nick Szabo. He's the guy who came up with BitGold, which was like an early version of Bitcoin.
Yes.
There's some pretty big similarities, but he totally denies it.
Interesting.
And then there are some who even point to Jack Dorsey, the co-founder of Twitter.
Wait, are you saying the guy who brought us 280 characters?
He was really into cypherpunk stuff early on.
Wow.
And some of his old tweets, if you look at them, they kind of line up with the Bitcoin timeline.
Hold on. You're saying the guy who brought us 280 characters could be the mastermind behind Bitcoin?
It's a possibility.
That's like an M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Right. It'd be pretty huge if it turned out to be true. And then there's this whole other theory, right? What if Satoshi isn't one person at all?
Okay, yeah.
What if it's like a whole group? A bunch of brilliant minds all working together.
Okay, now that's a theory I can get behind. It's like Ocean's 11, but for crypto.
Totally.
A team of specialists, each with their own superpowers. You've got your coding guru, your cryptography whiz,
right.
Maybe even like an economics mastermind in there somewhere.
Exactly. And when you think about how complex Bitcoin is, how big the whole project is, it kind of makes you wonder, could one person really pull that off? Even a genius like Satoshi.
Right. But here's the thing that really gets me. Why all the secrecy?
Yeah.
Why disappear and leave everybody guessing?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. See, Satoshi's anonymity, it's not just a random thing.
Right.
It's a core part of Bitcoin's DNA. By taking themselves out of the picture, they made sure no one person could control it.
So it's like they built this incredible machine, set it in motion, and then stepped back to let it run on its own. Like Willy Wonka vanishing from the chocolate factory.
I love that analogy. And just like Wonka's factory, Bitcoin operates on this trustless model. You don't have to trust any central authority, not even Satoshi.
No?
You just trust the code, the math.
But isn't that a little risky? Putting your faith in an algorithm created by, a ghost?
Think of it this way. You trust the laws of physics to keep a plane in the air, right?
Yeah.
Even though you don't know the engineers who designed it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You trust the system.
Exactly. And with Bitcoin, the code is open source. Anyone can check it out, verify it, even contribute. That transparency is what makes it so secure, so resilient. It's like a self-governing ecosystem where everyone has a stake in its success.
So Satoshi disappearing actually makes Bitcoin stronger. It's like they knew that by walking away, they were making it unstoppable.
Pretty brilliant strategy when you think about it. It's like Batman disappearing into the night, leaving Gotham to rely on its own strength.
Okay, I'm starting to see the genius of the whole anonymity thing.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't it also raise some problems?
Like what?
Like accountability. If something goes wrong with Bitcoin, who do you blame?
That's a good point. And it really gets to the core of the challenges with these decentralized systems. Think about the internet.
Yeah.
If the whole internet crashes, you can't point the finger at one person.
Right.
It's a network. Everyone's responsible.
Okay, but the internet wasn't invented by some mysterious figure who disappeared. There are organizations that, maintain it and set the rules.
That's true. But with Bitcoin, that responsibility is spread across the whole community. The developers, the miners, the people using it, they're all part of keeping the network going. It's like this self-governing ecosystem, kind of like a digital democracy.
So it's like one of those choose your own adventure books, but instead of a book, it's the global financial system.
Exactly. And that's why Satoshi staying anonymous is so important. It stops anyone from hijacking the whole thing.
Okay, I get it. But we've seen how the hunt for Satoshi can have real-world consequences.
Yeah.
Remember what happened to Dorian Nakamoto and Craig Wright?
Yeah, for sure. Those situations show you there are real ethical questions here. What if someone really got control of all of Satoshi's Bitcoins?
How many are we talking?
But we're talking about 1 million Bitcoins. Imagine that kind of power. It could wreck the whole market.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Like giving Lex Luthor the keys to Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Total chaos.
And then there's the privacy issue, right? Does anyone have the right to force someone out of anonymity, even if they did create something as huge as Bitcoin?
It's a tough one. I mean, we're naturally curious. We want to know who's behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe some secrets are better left buried, especially when it comes to something as world-changing as Bitcoin.
It's a real paradox, right? Satoshi being anonymous is both the best and the most mysterious thing about Bitcoin. It makes the system strong, but it also leaves us with a lot of questions.
And that ambiguity has created this whole industry of people trying to figure out who Satoshi is. We've talked about some of the main contenders, but what about some of the crazier theories?
Oh, you mean what if Satoshi's a time traveler? Or an AI?
Exactly. What if Satoshi is like John Connor from Terminator? sent back to plant the seeds for a decentralized future to save us from Skynet.
Okay, that's a bit too sci-fi for me even. But I do think it's good to keep an open mind, explore all the possibilities.
I guess that's what's so cool about a mystery like this. It really gets your imagination going, makes you think outside the box.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe one day the truth will come out.
Maybe, yeah.
But until then, the speculation continues.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
We've dug deep into the who and the why of Satoshi Nakamoto. But what does it all mean for the future of Bitcoin and the whole decentralized world they helped create?
Big questions.
We'll get into all of that right after this. All right, so we've gone pretty deep down the rabbit hole on this Satoshi Nakamoto mystery.
Yeah, we have.
We've looked at where Bitcoin came from, the possible suspects.
Right.
And the whole, what does it mean that Satoshi's decided to stay anonymous? But now, let's take a step back.
Okay.
Look at the big picture.
Yeah.
What does it all mean for the future?
Well, if you really think about it, Satoshi's story, it's not just about Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's about challenging, like, the basic ways we think about power, control, trust, all of it.
So you're saying this isn't just about cryptocurrency.
Right.
It's about a whole new way of, like, organizing things,
Mm-hmm.
systems, even society.
Exactly. Decentralization, it's a powerful idea. And
Yeah.
and you see its influence growing everywhere.
Like where? Give me an example.
Well, think about social media platforms.
Oh.
But like decentralized ones where users have control over their own data.
Okay, yeah.
Or what about those peer-to-peer energy grids?
Right, yeah. Where communities are sharing and managing their own power.
Wow, it's like Satoshi planted a seed. And now we're seeing this whole forest of decentralized systems popping up everywhere.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's why this mystery, like, who is Satoshi? Why'd they disappear? It matters. It makes us ask, can an idea, a movement, be bigger than the person who started it?
Exactly.
Okay, now you're getting all philosophical on me.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. Satoshi's not being around. It lets Bitcoin just be this pure expression of that idea of decentralization.
Yeah.
No leader, no prophet, no nothing. Just the code.
And that's both kind of exciting and, I don't know, kind of scary, right?
Right.
It gives us power to shape things,
Yeah.
but it also means we're responsible if things go wrong.
100%. So where do you think this is all going? What's the future hold for Bitcoin, this whole decentralized world Satoshi's a part of?
Big question.
Huge question.
What do you think?
Honestly, I think we're just getting started.
Yeah.
We're going to see so much more innovation,
Yeah. More things that shake things up, more challenges to the way things are. And it's like the early days of the internet, you just can't predict where it's all going to go.
So maybe Satoshi's real legacy isn't just Bitcoin. Maybe it's about inspiring us to imagine, to build a future where power isn't all in one place.
Yeah, a future where it's spread out. I like that.
And that's a pretty powerful legacy.
Here's a thought, though. Okay. What if the really important thing about Satoshi's anonymity? What if it's not about who they were, but who we become because they're not around?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's like a challenge, right? To step up.
Yeah.
Take ownership of this whole decentralized future.
Be the Satoshis of our own little worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next time you hear about Bitcoin, any of this decentralized tech, remember the Satoshi mystery. It's not just about some missing person. It's about something missing in us. That, wanting to be free, to do our own thing. A world built on trust, where things are out in the open.
And, hey, maybe that missing piece is starting to fit back in. Maybe one day, years from now, we'll look back at all this and we'll realize that the real Satoshi, it wasn't one person.
Yeah.
It was like this global wake-up call. A change in how we think, that leads us to a world where things are more decentralized, more fair.
That's a bold prediction.
No.
But hey, I wouldn't count it out. The seeds are planted, things are growing, the future is ours to build. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Bitcoin and the enigma that is Satoshi Nakamoto. We'll see you next time for more adventures in the world of knowledge and technology.